The next session is Dis-Inte-Grate, presented by Thomas Guignard. Thomas is the ebook project manager at the Ontario Colleges Library Service. In a previous life, he also majored in engineering, spent some years as a researcher, and then as an academic librarian in Switzerland. He foolishly believes technology should adapt to humans and not the other way around. Please join me in welcoming Thomas.
You are fumbling in the dark. You think you know what you're looking for, but when asked, you cannot put it into words, let alone a search query. The search box is an endless chasm, the submit button a door to the unknown, the results appearing on the screen cryptic, unexpected, ordered according to an undocumented relevance algorithm whose creator mysteriously disappeared a long time ago. Above it all floats mockingly a glitchy 7-year-old version of your institution's previous logo. Welcome to your OPAC. It's a glorious day today in the integrated library system, so that we can all enjoy those dark, rolling clouds of imminent doom firsthand. Today, I am taking you on a tour of our beloved integrated library system. And what better place to begin than by visiting our favorite search interface, the magnificent gate we fondly call the OPAC. Never a name was more aptly chosen, as its quizzical behavior does a perfect job protecting the wonders held in our catalog from being found. It is perhaps a rather lonely place nowadays, as many users now prefer to use the more friendly interface over at the discovery layer across the street. Users these days have no sense of fun, am I right? Thankfully, the missing APIs of the integrated library system have found an excellent way to prevent the OPAC from plunging into sheer oblivion by making its visit mandatory to all users wishing to place holds or otherwise access their account. What a cunning plan! And so enjoyable too. Have you seen the look of confusion of a user when they are abruptly sent from the friendly fields of the discovery layer to the barren landscape of the OPAC and asked to log one more time? They are having so much fun. The great cataloger's secret police is warning citizens that strange conical and bulbous creatures have been reported lately near the OPAC. The creatures are spreading rumors, questioning the wisdom of actively maintaining the OPAC in its current state, even though library items can now be found through the discovery layer. The creatures further reveal that clever yet heretical librarians have managed to thwart the efforts of the missing APIs and managed to integrate circulation functions within the discovery layer, thus making a visit to the OPAC not only unpleasant, but also unnecessary. The secret police instructs citizens that the mandatory reaction upon sighting the conical creatures is to simultaneously cover your eyes and ears, invoke the obscure cataloging rules developed by your institution for the very purpose of making change impossible, and carry on. Those citizens failing to comply or appearing to agree with the conical creatures will be invited to manually check the knowledge base against subscription ebook collections, a task that will keep them busy for the rest of their lives. Besides, why should anyone be worried? Everything is fine. Just fine. Now, back to our tour of the integrated library system. Leaving the OPAC, we are now entering the acquisitions module. Here's a fun fact. Do you know that there exists a twin version of everything that is in the acquisitions module? That's right. Every single number that is being tracked in the acquisitions module has been dutifully copied in the other world, that is our institution's accounting system. It has been faithfully maintained in duplicate by the helpless creatures that toil in this module. Because do you know what is better than an expenses tracking system? 2 expenses tracking systems. Of course, the figures tracked in the accounting other world, those in our acquisition modules, are not exactly the same, and all attempts to link the tracking of orders and invoices in the acquisition module to the accounting other world have been carefully defeated by the missing APIs of the integrated library system. But we have to interrupt our show again for a report by the secret police. The mysterious conical and bulbous creatures have now been cited in the acquisition module as well. So beware, listeners. The secret police reported that the conical creatures are pointing out that many functions of the acquisition module had been developed when there was no alternative tool to keep track of orders and expenses. The conical creatures also reportedly mentioned that dedicated asset tracking systems offer more flexibility and integration with the accounting system already used by our institution. Now, that is a ludicrous thought, the secret police mused. Who are they to talk of integration? They rhetorically asked. We are, after all, the integrated library system, they pointed out. Duh, they concluded, a bit out of character. Listeners, we are now entering the serials module. In these magnificent halls, countless scribes keep meticulous track of the holdings record of the library journals. This task is so important that it must also be performed twice. Each issue is recorded on a table attached to each title, and then the holding statement must be updated manually. Fun, right? Oh, and do you remember how the scribes working in the serials module were excited when we started moving from journals to electronic, from print journals to electronic? They all foolishly thought they could dispense from keeping the holdings updated manually. What fun they had when they realized that the knowledge base for electronic journals was not going to synchronize easily with the integrated library system, or with anything else for that matter, and would only be yet one more database to keep updated. The scribes were a bit concerned when vendors promised that the knowledge base would be updated automatically and that they would no longer do this rewarding work themselves. Fortunately, the knowledge base is never fully up to date, and the scribes can still happily update holding records manually. The great cataloger's secret police just whispered in my ear not to worry, but the strange conical and bulbous creatures have also invaded the serials module. Scurrying serial scribes have reported that the creatures are telling them to stop updating holdings records. They have been instructed to instead keep the knowledge base up to date so that it can act as a reliable source for the link resolvers. But then what about those holding statements in the OPAC? Don't those creatures have any manners? Once again, the secret police have advised that the only safe and authorized response to such threats is to ignore them and keep happily duplicating work that fewer and fewer users ever bother reading. Everything being, as always, fine. Well, this is certainly comforting, listeners. We are now standing in front of the cataloguing module. The holy grounds of this mysterious place are only accessible to the great cataloger itself and its avatars, where they perform the timeless rituals and other unknown rites that are necessary for, well, I never quite understood exactly what they are doing. But all I know is that when the chanting is done and the dust settles, the mystery of recording tangible and intangible things has been completed. I do not know what this means either. I was told that only catalogers were allowed to touch, let alone understand, the immaculate holiness of a metadata record. Right now, the Great Cataloger and its avatars are apparently participating in a ritual that involves fighting strange conical and bulbous creatures who are attempting a batch load of records and shouting heretical things like, "An imperfect record is better than no record," and "Stop cataloging what has already been cataloged elsewhere," while the catalogers are fighting back by brandishing a copy of the holy cataloging rules. Let's see who wins this epic battle. But first, a word from our sponsors. This episode and the following message are made possible by your friend, the integrated library system vendor. Are you satisfied with your integrated library system? Are you beginning to listen to the strange conical and bulbous creatures questioning everything you ever believed was true about the system? Well, we were frustrated too, because we were running out of new customers. And we listened to the creatures, because we have too many ears and not enough arms to cover them. And so we are excited to announce you will soon be able to move out of the integrated library system into a next generation library system. And it will be in a cloud. What will the difference be, I hear you question? Rest assured, there will be almost no difference to you. But hey, you will get to live in a cloud. All we ask in exchange is for you to give us your data, and so that we can sell it to our other customers, because that's what the cloud does. And sign up for this great offer today. In fact, you do not need to sign up or bother sending us your data at all. They have already been all transferred to the cloud as we speak. Now just sit back, relax, and let us move you to the cloud. Remember, the cloud is good for you. The cloud is always good for you. All hail the cloud. Thank you. Listeners, there's going to be a lot happening in the integrated library system. It appears the strange conical and bulbous creatures have started disconnecting some of the modules and have opened some of the forbidden database access to allow the remaining modules to interact with other systems. And, well, things are getting quite noisy here, so let us enter the last stop on our tour, which seems to be strangely untouched by the chaos outside. Listeners, this is the circulation module. Oh, yes, things are humming along quietly in the circulation module. The quietness only broken by the sound of items being checked in and out by library patrons. The sound mostly comes from those rusty pipes you see overhead. Those pipes have been cobbled together to link the circulation module with our institution's central identity control and now provide single sign-on functionalities. Yes, the circulation module proudly stands erect, even as the other modules are being replaced by the strange conical creatures with alternative solutions. Although I think I saw some of them break down a wall of the circulation module and install a pipeline to extract user statistics data. Oh well, in this day and age of disintegrating library systems, I guess you just have to do with such pipelines, right? Oh, and here is another one of these creatures. It looks friendly enough. Let us come nearer to hear what it's saying. Oh, come on. Surely there is virtue in keeping an entire integrated library system just for the sake of the circulation module, right? Right? Listeners, the ground under me is crumbling a little. Also, I think I am losing the line. It is probably time for us to conclude this visit. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. Today's proverb, don't be afraid of change. Be afraid of questioning everything you have ever done and the deep hole this will leave in your heart. On the flip side, that hole will make your heart lighter. Good night, Access. Good night.